coup à une intervention en direct de Albert. Donc Albert mi parlas en Esperanto por enkonduki vin. Ĉu vi aŭdas min?
Yes, mi aŭdas vin.
Necesas atendi momenton ke ili metu vian vizaĝon sur la granda ekrano kaj
Bone.
poste vi bonvena interveni en la angla, do se mi bone komprenas.
Do mi parolas rekte en la angla, ĉu bone?
Yes, pli bone tiel.
Bone.
Donc il va vous parler en anglais directement pour que tout le monde puisse suivre l'échange. Do ni ne vidas vin grandskale, sed eble vi tamen povas ekparoli ĉiuokaze ĉe la ekrano.
Bone. Hello, I am Albert Stalin Garrido, and I am a 24-year-old Esperanto speaker from the Philippines, and I currently live in Madrid, in Spain, where I work. Currently, in the Esperanto community, there are many organizations and clubs in which anyone can freely join, but SAT is one of those few organizations in which I am personally active in and whose activities I follow with great interest. I believe that SAT, which now completes its 100-year history of internationalist, anti-imperialist, and proletarian values, has principles and goals which are consistent with mine. My interest and activeness in the Esperanto and the leftist movement was aroused at a very young age. I started speaking Esperanto in 2013 when I was a 15-year-old high school student and became a student activist 2 years later in 2015 when I was in the university. As an activist for student rights in the University of the Philippines, Diliman, my country's national university, I participated in the lengthy battle to make education more accessible to many citizens. In addition to that, I would shout on the streets as I joined demonstrations against the three principal roots of social injustice: down with imperialism, down with capitalism, down with feudalism. And at the same time, as an Esperantist and an internationalist, I thought, in what ways do the youth, the workers, the women, and the other sectors of the society suffer in other countries? I wanted to hear their voices and stories. International solidarity has always made sense to me. In geography, which I majored in the university, the concept of space, whether physical or abstract, is very important. For something to exist or to happen, it has to possess space for itself, or something or someone has to give space for it. And that's what SAT exactly does. It provides us with space, or the so-called safe space, for such an exchange of voices and stories. People from different countries, languages, races, and ages, but with similar principles, goals, and actions, get together and spread awareness on each other's own struggles in the same language, Esperanto. And honestly, it is very important, symbolically or practically, that we are communicating in a language that neither imperialism nor capitalism has forced on us. Therefore, SAT as an Esperanto organization and membership in it have always made sense to me. In the 21st century, when many modern democratic frameworks and systems already exist, there are still existing threats to democracy and social justice. Dictators act with impunity, and neo-fascists rise in waves in many countries. They strive to preserve and beautify the same rotten and unjust social system, and for that, many generations of the people suffer from the same injustice. For example, in the Philippines, we have Rodrigo Duterte, of which I refuse to speak of further because I am sure that you already know about him. And so, in this same century in which people can talk to each other even from a distance, international solidarity is more relevant than ever. SAT alone will not lead us to the revolution that the world needs, but it is one of the learning spaces where people can learn how to achieve success in the people's struggles in their own countries. Unfortunately, due to my current circumstances, I am no longer as active in the leftist movement as I used to be when I was in the university. But I continue to be a loyal follower of the people's movement in my home country. Just like freshly blooming flowers, waves upon waves of new and young comrades join the Esperantist and the leftist movements. Likewise, I wish that SAT continue to be replenished with the youth who possess fresh ways of thinking and the energy to be for sustainable movement for a better world for all. I congratulate SAT in the occasion of its 100th anniversary and wish it continuous strength and resolve through the waves of new developments in today's world. Long live international solidarity, longevivo internazia solidarezzo. Thank you, Dankon.